Making a sourdough bread is actually an incredible process. It takes anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. You have to be patient. You have to make sure the starter you use is good and well looked after. This means feeding it regularly, refreshing it, and baking with it often. And as I went through this process, I thought about the teaching of Jesus, about the leaven or the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Bread was a staple food back then. People ate it every day. Each household would actually have a starter, a living kind of glob of dough that you would take from in order to make your daily bread. They would have to use the starter every day in order to keep it living and to keep themselves living. You would take from the starter and use it to make your dough, and then afterwards take from the dough you just made and put it back to the starter. It was this taking and giving action. It was beautiful. This awesome picture of how we are supposed to be in communion with God. Bread was so important. It was essential to life. Matthew 16:11-12 says, "Beware the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees." Then they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. You see, they weren't so much about daily survival as they were about daily reputation. They were consumed with looking the best, knowing the most, and wanting to be the people whom everyone wanted to know and learn from. The problem is that they didn't take care of their relationship with God. They didn't use the starter every day. They didn't refresh it. They didn't go to God for their daily need to survive. You see, if you use bad yeast in your dough, it ruins it. The loaf won't rise. It won't grow. The taste will even change, and it will become something that you just kind of throw out to the dogs. It's no longer useful. When the starter is dead, it is no good anymore. This was the danger of learning from the Pharisees and Sadducees. What they taught, how they impacted and influenced people, was much like the bad yeast in the dough. They ruined the whole thing. They didn't have a living starter in their lives. They weren't living for God. They were living for themselves. And so they forgot about him, and their relationship with him died. It had been this way for generations. Loaf of bread after loaf of bread becoming ruin. But then Jesus came and brought new life. He gave us a new relationship with God, and like the starter, we are to be with God each and every day, becoming refreshed, rising, and growing as he works within us, refining us, changing us, making us what we are designed to be in him. John 6:35 says, Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst." Jesus is who we need each and every day. He is essential to life. He's essential to grow and to rise. He is the bread of life. It is in him alone that we are what we are meant to be.